Time to talk about those all-important starting pitchers. We got plenty to talk about. This is Mr. Nameco. I'm Dustin. Before we get into it, though, Mr. Brent.
Just make sure that if you want to see all of our updated rankings, you click on the little thing that you can see to click on our rankings, and make sure that you subscribe. Leave a like if you like this, a comment if you like, and we will be trying to get in and answer comments on YouTube because that's what you guys want. So we will be doing that because we do what our fans want us to do.
And make sure to check out the rankings. We'll be updating them throughout the season, or throughout the preseason, all spring training stuff. But Mr. Brent, who's in our number one tier all by themselves?
So number one tier all by themselves is Mr. Clayton Kershaw. And of course, that's who's there. I mean, he is just the gold standard of starting pitching. The guy's ridiculous. And in 149 innings last year, he had 172 Ks. You know he's great. Moving on, tier two.
He's good.
And he's amazing. What am I going to say that you don't know?
Tier 2, you can basically make an argument for organizing these guys in any number of ways, but we had number 2 as Noah Syndergaard. I mean, we just think at 24, we don't necessarily know what his ceiling is yet. He's exciting. He had well over a K per inning last year, an ERA in the mid-2s. Big fan of Noah Syndergaard. And then Max Scherzer I want to talk about. You know, we'd probably have him a little bit higher if he didn't have the finger issue going on. I mean, 284 strikeouts. Last I checked, that's pretty good. 120 games. So as long as everything's looking good with his finger, he's a very safe pick for your stud elite starting pitcher.
Tier 3, I'm going to talk about two Cubbies. First one, Jake Arrieta. I mean, he had another solid year yet again. He's about a K per inning, which you always like to see out of your starting pitchers. And he had a 3.1 ERA. And he's just a solid, you know, if he's not your ace on your team and he's your B, you're doing really good in the starting pitching department. And the other guy, Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks, I just love the way that this kid pitches. 27 years old, and the thing about Hendricks that makes him exciting is his whip. He has an under 1 whip, so he does get those Ks, not a ton of walks. Hendricks just a solid pitcher as well. I'm fine with either of these guys as your B pitcher.
I want to talk about an old man that a lot of people, including myself, had kind of written off, but he proved us last year that we shouldn't have done it just yet. But Mr. Justin Verlander, the guy had an amazing season, and it just kind of goes to show, you know, sometimes guys just get banged up, and it's, you know, they're just getting healthy again. It's not that they're necessarily over the hill. So at 33 years old, you gotta bring him back and say, okay, maybe I'll give you another shot. So we're back to on board with Verlander as a top 15 starting pitcher. And then Steven Strasburg. I mean, it's just so hard with just the injuries and just, I mean, when he's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in the league. But, you know, up until recently, he was always overdrafted. But now he kind of goes for an okay price on draft day, so you're not having to go crazy to get him on your team. And again, if he can stay healthy, he could be one of the best pitchers in the league. But it's just that injury risk why we got him down where he is.
Tier 5, talking about two Rangers this time. The first one's Cole Hamels, and he has been the model of consistency for starting pitchers. 33 years old, it feels like every single year I don't draft him, and every single year I'm like, why didn't I draft him? He's doing exactly what Cole Hamels does, and he's awesome. So this year I'm not going to make that same mistake.
200 innings, 200 strikeouts.
It happens every dang year. And the other guy is Yu Darvish, not necessarily 200 innings, 200 strikeouts, but this guy, his K rate is ridiculous. 100 innings, 132 strikeouts. When Yu Darvish is healthy and pitching well, he is a Cy Young candidate. He can be that good.
Tier 6, got one guy for you, a guy that let a lot of owners down last year, Mr. Garrett Cole. I mean, the upside was there, but he just could not stay healthy. He had 3 separate stints on the DL, and it just did not happen for him. You know, we bumped him down just because of, you know, obviously from where he was getting drafted last year, but we don't want to bump him down too far because the potential's still there. If he can stay healthy, he can be right back where he was, you know, a couple seasons ago. So we still don't hate Garrett Cole, but we had to move him down because of the injury concern.
Tier 7, I'm highlighting Felix Hernandez, and we all know the fantasy stud that he's been in the past. But last year was just such a down year for him. We had to obviously adjust where he typically goes or where we feel he should go in drafts. But whenever you're going late in drafts, I think a gamble on Felix Hernandez is not the worst thing. I think it's very plausible he could bounce back. It's not a lock, so therefore he's ranked as such.
Tier 8, Zach Greinke. If you've watched our videos throughout the years, you know I'm not necessarily a Zach Greinke fan, just because I don't know which Zach Greinke's going to show up. Even when he has his good seasons, it's a lot of good games, and then I have one game where he gives up like 10 earned runs. But sometimes he just has bad years, and that's what he had last year. Now, could he turn it around? Yes. I mean, he's 33. I mean, he's not completely over the hill. It's just at this point, with the inconsistency factor, his poor season last year, I'm not taking him anywhere early, middle rounds or anything. I mean, if he slips, I might take a gamble.
You'll never take Greinke.
But, where his ADP is, I won't be touching him. At this point, I see him as more of a name. But he could pull a Verlander and come back and have a good season.
I can't believe that's the guy you chose to highlight.
He won't be on my
Pretty much you're just letting everybody know you definitely hate him.
Yeah.
And then we argue where he's ranked every year. Tier 9, Rich Hill. He's got a 2.12 ERA last year. So why is he in Tier 9? It's because he's 36-year-old. Is he really going to do it again? It seems highly unlikely he's going to have that similar ERA success.
I want to talk about a very fun person in Tier 10, Julio Urias. This is one of the most exciting young pitchers I feel in the league. And if the Dodgers didn't have such a good rotation and he was actually in the rotation, I would want him maybe 20 spots higher than this. But I love this kid. His minor league stats were amazing. He's exciting. He's fun to watch. But you just got to pay attention to the spring training reports and where he's going to be at the start of the season. If he's going to be in the bullpen or what's going to happen. But if he ends up getting a starting rotation spot, I love him as a high upside guy that you can get late.
Tier 11 is the guy that I love, and that's James Paxton. I actually think this kid could break out and have a sick season. Chucks the ball, big guy. He's just fun to watch. I think the upside is certainly there for him. He's added some velocity to his fastball, which made him even better towards the latter part of the year. So keep an eye on him. He's a guy that should be in everybody's queue, and you should grab up late because he's going to be very good.
Got an old man for you, Adam Wainwright, 35 years old at this point. Not the best season last year, but he's been battling injuries, but you only have to go back to 2014 when he was one of the best pitchers in the league. So it's just kind of risk reward. I mean, for where you're having to get him, I mean, you're not going to have to pay a huge price tag. And there's always that chance I've used it already. He could pull a Verlander and just come back. And, we know he can do it. He's not, completely over the hill in terms of pitchers, and he still could have a good year or two left in him. So not a bad gamble for an old guy that you could take.
Tier 13, I'm going to talk about Tanner Roark. And really, why I'm going to highlight him is I'm going to say thank you, Tanner, because you work so fast. And when you pitch a baseball game, it's not 17 and a half hours long. This guy works quick, but he's also young. He's a pretty good pitcher. Late round pick and not a bad idea. But if you're ever just kind of going through your MLB package and you see that he's pitching, just know it's going to be a short game and a fun game. And that's what all pitchers should do. Thank you, Tanner.
He's not that young. He's 30.
He's 30 now? Jeez. I'm getting old. That's all that means.
You are getting old. We are getting old. But that's our starting pitchers. Again, post questions, comments, your teams in the comments for the video. We're going to be responding to some of those questions. Check out our most updated rankings. Subscribe to our channel. You can click the little button right down there.
And there's a little bell. Get the notifications.
Like our channel.
Gotta do one. It is the pitchers. Curveball.
Hardly broke at all.
Oh, it's so curved. That was a 9 to 5 right there. Shoo.
It just spun.
Shoo.
It's terrible.
Let's see your curve.
Barry Zito.
Oh, that's a real pitch. That's how pitchers pitch. They just snap their
It was a
fingers.
piece of paper.
They just snap their fingers.
I wanted to make sure it curved. It's not all about speed with the curveball.